explaining to them their rights. And we just want to be as patient as possible.
Message to those who are legal.
Police say at least 2 shooting incidents sent people running for cover and prompted police to call for more reinforcements. At least one of the incidents was an officer-involved shooting that occurred after police came under heavy gunfire. That is according to police. No officers were injured. About 2.5 hours ago, police talked about that shooting.
Shots were fired again. He ran around behind the building out of the south. That's a fenced area back there, so there was really nowhere to go at that point. He engaged the officers at the time. There were 4 officers who were in that van. All 4 fired at the suspect, and the suspect fell there.
Shall we all stop kidding each other? Let's admit what most of America knew would happen 1 year after the death of alleged strong-arm thief Michael Brown.
And you can see a young man who appears to be Michael Brown, as Don Lemon pointed out, wearing the same outfit that Michael Brown was wearing on that Saturday, and it appears that there is some sort of scuffle taking place in this convenience store. I want to bring in Gene Casares right now. Supposedly, this was termed a strong-armed robbery, and allegedly, Michael Brown was stealing cigars. So what do these pictures definitively tell you, if anything?
Well, first of all, it's an excellent surveillance camera. I mean, how many times are they blurry? And this is a really strong and photographic image of a strong-arm robbery.
I'm a journalist. We're taught from day one to use words like allegedly, supposedly, others that hit us square in the legal and moral search for justice. But there comes a time when we have to stop kidding ourselves. Let's stop lying to each other. Enough with this PC spit shining of criminals and criminal activity. That was Michael Brown in that video. That was Michael Brown stealing from a convenience store. Doesn't make a difference whether he stole the cash register or a cigar. He used his size to intimidate the clerk and anyone else in the store to take something he wanted without paying. An event that triggered a call to police to be on the lookout for a thief, a crook, someone who physically threatened another human being with bodily harm if anybody tried to stop him, which led to a confrontation with Officer Darren Wilson, where every piece of available evidence, even agreed upon by the Barack Obama-appointed Justice Department, proved to anyone with a slice of working brain tissue what happened and what is now history. This isn't up for deliberation here. This is provable fact.
No federal civil rights charges against Officer Darren Wilson. Michael Brown's parents reacting in a statement saying, "Today we received disappointing news from the Department of Justice that the killer of our son won't be held accountable for his actions."
What about the actions of Michael Brown? Why is it that every time we get to this point, we never hear the entire truth over and over again, as it should be? An article this Sunday passed in the Washington Post was titled "Black and Unarmed," citing numerous cases where young black men were fatally shot by cops. Here's a paragraph from that story. Perhaps most infamously, the pattern played out 1 year ago Sunday in Ferguson, Missouri, where a white police officer searching for a convenience store robber shot and killed an unarmed black teenager. Look, if we're dealing with straight journalism here, seeking to tell the facts in the story without prejudice or favor, it might have read, where a white police officer encountered a suspect in the strong-arm robbery of a local convenience store. And when approached for questioning, the unarmed black teenager resisted, attacked the officer, reached for the officer's weapon, and the officer reacted with legal deadly force to subdue a suspect. And before the apologists start tuning up and call me a racist, which undoubtedly is already on the lips of plenty, let's cut through the bovine excrement here and admit we got a problem in this country, where anyone of color walks in fear of law enforcement, backed by decades of bad cops hunting people down and looking for a good parking place for their bullet as a moment of jollies. But if we as a nation are ever going to heal, ever going to repair this widening racial rift that a president of the people and for the people has chosen to make even worse by often making it all about certain people at certain times, we got to stop lying to ourselves. Tell the truth. Stop glorifying the criminals and understand that even after 1 year, the facts remain. Michael Brown was no saint, no one to be honored. To teach that will extend another generation that lies. When will we all stop sucking up to the teat of political correctness and rely on cold, hard facts no matter where they take us? He, Michael Brown, and plenty of others would be alive today if they didn't willfully break the law, flaunt their arrogance of law enforcement, and if they weren't deified as the facts behind their death fade away into the PC sunset. How about teaching this generation, all colors, they're often just as responsible, and maybe the only reason why they find themselves staring down the barrel of a gun? How refreshing that would be. Rock on, true believers. See you tomorrow.